Okay, this is Dune 101. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of the basic plot of Dune. I'm trying to keep this basic and simple as possible. Um, I'm making this specifically for a friend who's one of a couple of friends who haven't read Dune, who kind of asked me to kind of help them out with. But I'm very likely going to post this publicly. In simplest terms, Dune is very much Star Wars meets Game of Thrones. Now, Dune was actually written long before either property, so it predates the novel, predates the Star Wars movies, and predates Game of Thrones by many years. But some of the aspects of those two stories relate to Dune. There's similarities, and I think that'll help those understand it. Um, the basic plot of Dune in the basic structure in Dune is the galaxy is divided up to various factions, and at the top of the faction is the Emperor, who's the think of like the federal government. He's the imperial power. He is the he holds like the executive authority, but extremely powerful person, galaxy's most powerful man. As for all the planetary planets and the planetary systems, they're all governed by various nobles, and this is where it gets very Game of Thrones-ish. Chief among the nobles is House Atreides, who are very much the protagonists of the story. So think of House Stark. Um, House Atreides is head by Duke Leto, and Duke Leto is a very influential person. Pretty much what he says, he has the ear of the other nobles. So what he says and where he leads, the other nobles, the other houses are inclined to follow. Um, on the other side of the coin is House Harkonnen, who are very much the antagonists of the story. Um, to deal with the Harkonnen, you basically got to deal with spice. Spice is another aspect of this of the factions. You have the Spice Guild. Spice is basically oil, in that it is the most valuable commodity in the universe. The melange spice, it without it, there's no interstellar travel. The Navigators Guild, who control how the spaceships basically navigate the system, they need spice to do it. So without spice, there's only short. You can only do short trips. There's no interstellar space travel. So the galaxy will basically grind to a halt without spice. Problem with spice is it's only found on Arrakis, which is Dune, aka Dune. For years, House Harkonnen have governed Arrakis, and got very rich about it, rich by it, because they kind of by controlling running where the spice is tapped, it gave them a lot of influence and it gave them a lot of wealth. And that's like the most important thing, keeping the spice running. The big saying is a spice must flow. Now, the Emperor abruptly pulls Arrakis from the Harkonnen. Where the Harkonnen running it, he takes that job away from him and moves the Atreides to Dune to run the spice. He's very much setting up the Atreides to fail. Again, this was kind of becoming Game of Thrones-ish. Basically, the Harkonnen, the Emperor, various other factions basically look at the Atreides as potential enemy. They look at them, they see him as a threat. They see Duke Leto as a threat. They see House Atreides as a threat. They're looking to take it out. So it's not so much the Emperor punishing the Harkonnen as much as he's setting up the Atreides. Like there's a line from the movie where what is a gift not a gift, so he's kind of setting up the film. So that's the main political political structure of how the universe, the galaxy is set. Where it gets fairly Star Wars ish is as it comes to Paul Atreides. Paul Atreides is Duke Leto's son, the heir apparent of House Atreides. Now, he is very much the Luke Skywalker character of the story, in that he is kind of the one destined for great things, destined to bring the balance to the Force type of shit, He is the son of Lady Jessica, who is Duke Leto's concubine. She's not his wife. She's basically his, like I said, his concubine. She is a Bene Gesserit witch, and which is a female order of witches who have various powers. Kind of, some of them, they're not. I don't want to say they're nowhere near as powerful as Jedi's, but they do have their own little version of they have the voice, which is similar to the Jedi, a mind trick. They could kind of command you to do shit. They have awesome fighting skills, kind of like the Jedi. They have all these abilities to their female order. Lady Jessica was not supposed to have a son. She was supposed to have daughters. Instead, she had a son, and she taught him all the Bene Gesserit shit. So he knows the basics of the voice. He knows the basics of the wielding way, the fighting style. But he's not really supposed to be. And the Bene Gesserits are very concerned about the fact that he exists at all. He is the product of generations of crossbreeding between various noble bloodlines, various important bloodlines. So he has really peculiar genetics, and he has skills that he shouldn't have. Now this kid is dumped on Arrakis with his family, where he's exposed to spice. And spice and its kind of its narcotic properties, or hallucinogenic properties, whatever you want to call it, starts fucking with his system, and it starts awakening his potential. He's already kind of experiencing precognitive abilities. Once he's exposed to spice, it's becomes souped up. So now he's on. So basically, that's where it gets kind of a little, or in some aspects, think of he's like the Luke Skywalker of the story. Now, Dune the movie, I want to prepare people who haven't seen it. It is part 1 and going to be part 2. They're not going to cover the whole story. It's kind of like, I know, the Twilight books, and the last of the Twilight books, and the Hunger Games, Mockingjay. They cut it in half. They made 2 movies out of 1 book. They're doing this with Dune, which is actually the proper way to do it. So it's kind of divided. So you're not gonna get the whole story. Where it cuts off, there's still a lot of shit that hasn't happened yet. So I'm kind of gonna leave it right here right now. But basically, ultimately, you're dealing with House Atreides, sent to Dune to harvest the spice, but they're really set up to fail. The Harkonnens and the Emperor are looking to take them out, but kind of the wild card is Paul Atreides, who is now on the planet getting souped up on spice, and he's very much, ultimately going to become the they thought Duke Leto was a threat. Wait till they meet Paul. So I'm kind of gonna leave it there for now. Might make a like the Dune Part Two is not going to come out till like 2023, I think. So it might be a long time before I do any type of follow up on this, and by then it might not be no need to. So any questions, any comments, hit me up. So take care, all, and I hope this helped for anybody who interested in Dune and but hesitant to see the movie. So take care.